Hey there, everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey, and I am back today to share with you this traveler's notebook layout that I am creating using the Especial collection by Obed Marshall and American Crafts. I am trimming some sheets of white cardstock down to 4 1/8 inches by 8 1/8 inches, and I am just using standard 8.5 by 11 size pieces of cardstock. Now I am going to use those for the background of both sides, sort of. You'll see in a little bit the right hand side is going to be a little bit different, and so there will be a little bit. You can see right there I left the top, I didn't trim it down to 1 1/8. I left the top part and I scored it and folded it over. Now this pink sheet I am trimming to 4 1/8 wide and then 8 1/8 tall, and then eventually that other piece that I scored and folded will come into play with that pink piece of pink patterned paper. Say that several times fast. Now I am trimming all of my photos. I have 12, yes, 12 2 by 2 photos, and then I have one 5 by 7 photo that I will trim down also. So this traveler's notebook layout will have 13 photos, and the theme is all about me, and so these are all photos that include pictures of myself, and they're basically from, for the most part, from 2022 and 2021. There's one or two that are from 2020 as well, but for the most part, they are from the last year or two. Now, this was the 5 by 7, and I just trimmed it down the width only so that it would be 4 1/8 inches wide. And then I'm going to find a sheet of patterned paper that I want to use for the accent at the top. Now I'm wanting to use mostly pink patterned paper. Again, there's that phrase. However, there is a sheet of blue that has cameras on it that is so cute from this collection. Now, I know this is an older collection released at the beginning of last year, but I loved it so much. And so it was one of those things that I was a little bit like, since this is a layout about me, I wanted to use a collection that I absolutely loved. Now I inadvertently got adhesive all over the front of this photo because I pulled it up and then I flipped it over and I was trying to get the adhesive. Oh, it was just a mess. So anyway, I got adhesive all over the photo. So I'm using undo to get the adhesive off of the photo. And then I just get a little bit tired of working with it, so I'm just going to set it aside, and then I'm going to go to work on the right hand side, and I'll deal with the rest of that later. So I'm putting adhesive on the back side of that, and then I'm going to adhere it to the pink patterned paper. So I'm creating a flip up of this so that I can put photos on the outside, and then you flip it open and we have two more surfaces, one white and one pink, that I can add not only photos, but I can also add journaling as well, because remember, this is a layout that is all about me, and so I want to talk about some things about myself, and then I want to make sure to add a whole lot of pictures too. So most of these are photos that I really like of me, but some of them are, how do I say, maybe not like, oh, my favorite photos of myself, but there's something about them that I really like. So for example, the photo at the top that's got the red background, like, it's not my favorite photo of myself, but I think I look really happy and I think it's a fun photo, so I included that because of that reason. The photo with all three of my sons, like, oh, it's not necessarily like my favorite photo of myself ever or anything, but it's a decent enough photo and I love it with all three of my kids. So it's those types of things. Like, there's a photo of me pulling a hoodie on and I'm laughing, and like, it's not the world's most flattering photo, but I feel like it's really very, very me, and it's in front of the sunset at the beach. And so overall, the photo is great, if that makes sense. Like, it's not the greatest photo of me ever, but it just kind of helps tell the story of who I am if that makes sense. So I think that's, at least for me, that's important to remember, that not every photo is going to be my favorite photo of myself, but there are going to be photos that are perfectly me, and those are important to remember as well. So I left some room on the white cardstock because I wanted to add some embellishing. And then I flipped it over because I wanted to add some embellishing on the front and then the title for the layout. So I am layering on top of that little star die cut one of the acrylic pieces from the collection. And these little acrylic bits are just, oh, I love them. I love the colors. I love everything about them. They're very, very thick though, like very thick. So they're definitely not for every single use, and they're not for every single project, because certainly I would never put these in my memory planner because they're much, much, much too thick. So I'm just going to add some wet glue to the back and then adhere this down and hope that someday it sticks, because again, they're very thick and very heavy. And then I'm going to take a couple of little stars from the Stardust collection, just like enamel dot type, accents, and put them up at the top, have them all tie together right there. Now I'll come back and do the title, but I wanted to jump in and work on the inside. So now you can see I left basically the top half of the white page blank because I wanted to add a big cluster embellishment up there. The bottom part of the pink page is going to be mostly journaling, like all about me. And so I really wanted there to be like a big focal point up at the top. So I'm selecting die cuts, pulling them all together for not only up here, but then also on the big photo page as well. So I'm just pulling out ones that I love and that I think would work really well and layer together really well. So I've got tags, I've got little labels, I've got this, it's sort of, I guess it's probably like a big journaling piece, but I'm just going to use it for layering because I think it's very, very cute and I think it's going to work wonderfully. So now the tag, it was way too big for what I needed it for, so I just trimmed it down, and then I'm going to put the label on top of it. Now I also know that I want to use this little die cut camera too. It's blue, so it doesn't go with the overall pink theme, but first of all, it's adorable, and then second of all, it just really pops with the pink, so I'm going to include that, and it goes really well with the blue tag also. So that I will also use the blue, or the pink, I'm sorry, this pink circle, and then the pink little flower, and then they'll all just tie in together so nicely, and it'll be really, really dimensional in the way that there'll be just so many different layers of die cuts, and it'll all together come together so wonderfully. So now I added that little flower, and then I also trimmed the edge off so it's sitting flush against the edge as well, and then some more of the stars from the Stardust collection like I did on the front. So we're tying those together and keeping it very cohesive. All right, so now here is that photo again, like we saw earlier. I needed to start working on that again, even though I was still frustrated by the adhesive. But so I ended up choosing the polka dot paper. It's very, very subtle and it's very nice. It's just very subtle. Now I'm going to do some embellishing. I had initially thought that I would do it up at the top, but I changed my mind and I decided to do it down at the bottom because the sweater and stuff wasn't important to the story. Although I like the sweater, it just didn't need to be focal point, and so I decided that I would just add another big cluster down here, including a pink tag this time, and then one of the little frames, and then this cute pink domino. Now the domino is kind of a weird accent, like, because it's not like I'm into dominoes or anything, but it's really adorable and it fits with the colors as well, and then it also feels kind of whimsical all at the same time, which I love. So I decided to go with that, and then it ended up looking really cute over there on that side of the page. Now these thickers are so cute. The colors, the font, and then I always, always, always love the foam ones. They're so easy to use, and the adhesive is marvelous. So I am just simply spelling out I am over on the right hand side of the page, and then that's it, because then you open it up and it's going to have all of this journaling on the inside that's just simply going to be these strips. So I'm going to cut them apart with my paper trimmer, and each line will get its own, it will just stand alone. So I'm not going to keep the journaling together as a block. I'm going to cut each strip apart, and then I will use adhesive to adhere them down on the page. I just love the way that this looks. I feel like you could theoretically line them up and have them all be centered and nice and that kind of stuff. Or you can scatter them a little bit more, having them be, one be a little bit more off to the left, one a little bit more to the right, one centered, and then it just gives it a little bit more of a playful and whimsical feel, and just a little less serious. And I'm always a big fan of how that turns out. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thanks so much, and make it a great day.